Hello, hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second race of the Classic Day Championship, which is hosted by, I believe it's Kaffelor and Schwarzfahrer of the semi-slick racing community. Last time around we were in Argentina for the pilot race, very first one. And today we are back with a lot of the same drivers on a different track. Quickly have a look at the calendar so I can properly introduce this track. It's called Goiânia, I believe it is. It's an interesting track. This is in Brazil. Last time I called it Brazil, but we were in Argentina. Now we're actually in Brazil. It's a very, very interesting track today. Hopefully the interesting challenges that it poses with the fast corners, the long straight, right here, the start finish straight is very, very long indeed. And some good flowing corners to fight through, including a very interesting chicane here. Now, McSliver unfortunately is ghosting a little bit because he's close to someone that I don't think has him on screen. There's a couple of others actually runing here. Well, I have a quick look with Bujek. On the roof. This is the start finish straight at the end of it, in fact. And brake as late as you can. You try to carry a lot of speed through if you can, but you mostly want to go for a good exit. That's what you will be fighting. He goes a little bit wide. Ooh, can he save it? Ooh, he kind of does. Still stays on the grass. Just has to control the car. Some people would immediately reset. This is only practice, of course, so there's two ways to look at it. Like, it's practice, it's not important what happens, so you know, you can just keep going. But also, if you just want a clean run, now your tires are going to be dirty, like maybe you just want to reset after that. He doesn't do that. I think that's really good. Yeah, there you go, a couple of fast flowing corners, a fairly tight corner. It's basically a hairpin, a small right kink here, but nothing too significant. And now it gets interesting. It's a turn into a braking zone, into a very hard to get right chicane. It's quite tight. You see him slide out wide here, compromises an exit here, trying to get a good run anyway. Then you line up all the way to the left, very important. Go try to hit the apex, but there's not an apex that you really want to hit. Try to get good speed through that, and that would finish a lap. And not only a good example of what the track looks like, but also how the cars behave. Because if you are an avid semi-slick racing watcher, or maybe even drive with us, then you'll know that we drive the Formula 1 cars, which are very grippy, very fast through corners. You can abuse them a little bit. These are not like that. They are basically the opposite. They slide around a lot. Kind of behave like a drift car. You have to be early on the brakes. And yeah, it's difficult to drive, but it also makes for some very good racing. And we saw that last week. If you've missed it on my YouTube channel, there's the race for last week. But just watch it after this one. The ordering, not too important, but I will be about to spoil the results. We are going over the current standings in the championship. So, hello to, I believe, Michael. He drove last time. I don't see him on the list today. He did drive last time. He finished the race in any case and got a point for it. Everybody who finishes gets a point. I think that's a wonderful rule. Motivates people to just continue going and not retire when things don't quite go their way. There's always... like it's racing, if something can happen to you, it can happen equally to everybody else. So you always try to keep going and try to make of it what you can. And Michael shares 1 point with Kai Racer, MK21, Carlo Spicy Wiener, and RST Kushti, who all have 1 point. We see Kushti here again today. And let's see, I see a Kai. I'm not sure if that's Kai Racer. Very well be. Flavor Dave had 2 points after the last race, is 10th in the standings, and he is here again today. One of my favorite usernames on the track. Schwarzfahrer, one of the organizers, currently standing in the pits. And then we've got Wujek, who had a very good race last time, but unfortunately had a couple of mishaps, let's say, and unfortunately finished all the way down in 8th. Maybe today he can make up for that. He's currently 6th in the timing sheets. It's only practice 7th. Dustin had to demote him, unfortunately. Also KB, I'm not sure if KB is here today. I don't see KB on the list. Finished 7th last time. Hopefully we'll see them later today even. Maybe later in the season, who knows. I forgot to ask, but Mr. Pan, as we like to call him last time, in P6 with 6 points. I've got Kai Manish, he was 5th last time. I don't see him either, but there's also like this Kai. I'm not sure if that's Kai Race or Kai Manish. Maybe we'll find out. Then we've got Runelink, finished 4th last time. Wasn't very happy with his race. Had a couple of incidents, but he apologized for that. And that's generally how this community goes. It's hard racing on the track, but when we get out of the car, we just are friends and talk to each other like normal people. We've got Cavalo in 3rd in the standings, currently 5th in this session. Let's have a look how he's doing, and a wonderful car there. I like the baby blue, but honestly, mileage may vary. It's a very retro look, I think. He is 3rd in the championship. We'll be very happy with that result. And then the person who's 2nd is the big boss of semi-slick racing, KRRT Dustin. I say big boss. I don't think he looks at himself that way, but he tends to organize most things. Supports people when they organize other things. That is a wonderful position to have. Another wonderful position to have is 2nd in the championship, which he currently holds. 12 points, of course, after one race. That doesn't say much. He is 2nd so far. And then Mick Schleifer. Now, Mick Schleifer, he is up there in P1. Not only in the standings, but also on this timing sheet right here. And he had a very lonely race last time. It looked at the start like he could be challenged, but very quickly people started battling. There were a couple of collisions here and there, and he ran off. Wasn't always the fastest like every single lap, but he did have some very, very strong pace that I don't think people were able to match last time. Hopefully today it's a little different and he gets a little bit of competition. That would be very good for him. But he knows this car so well and he drives it a lot. I think he's got, I'm not sure if it's a world record, but a very good time on the time trial here on this track in this car. He's very well practiced and I think he just loves this car. And you can see it with the confidence he drifts around with, the look on his cockpit as the practice is complete, but people will get the opportunity to finish their laps. Goes a little wide there. Here I go complimenting his confidence before he goes wide immediately. But he controls that car, has the practice pit entry. I think that's already the line for where you have to slow down. So I think it's something that people do need to practice either now or in qualifying, or they will definitely get it wrong during the race. You have to brake so early, and these cars are not the best on the brakes. But there you go, Mick Schleifer is in the pits. And we'll be moving on to qualifying very, very soon. Now, this is what a Miss 2 sometimes looks like, but I'll quickly switch away, because I don't want too many flashing images. And one that happens to be sensitive to that. Yeah, Eisenschenk is currently in P11. Ultimate Käse, also new here today. He does race in SSR, notably in the Formula 1 League. I believe he had a decent race last time around. So today, hopefully he can repeat that. He's 3rd in that session. That session is over. That car is vibing. As you can see, most people here today are German, including Ultimate Käse. That North Korean flag doesn't mean anything. But I think he I don't know. I feel like the name gives his nationality away, so there's not really a problem there. But there he is, Ultimate Chiesa. Showed good pace in practice. Can he repeat that in qualifying? We'll have to see. But first out is Runelink. Quickly go, actually in the cockpit. I wanted to do this with Mick, but you can see how these guys have to work the wheel. It is a round wheel, and if you have a sim rig and you want to drive this car, a round rim is very much recommended. Not technically required, but it's just nice to have the option to grip it differently in case of emergency, you know. But yeah, it is hard work. You will hopefully see already in the outlap that Runelink has to work to make this car do exactly what he wants it to do. You can see counter steer, like he turns a little bit to the left and the car kind of overtakes him in turning. Tries to spin and he has to correct it. That's kind of how you turn this car. Chicane, a very, very tricky one. It is very slow, and I think a lot of people, see the counter steer again, a lot of people will lose a lot of time there. That chicane will be the death of many good laps, and perhaps also of many very good positions. Actually, really overview, it's a big bulky thing and not very necessary, so we'll watch how Runelink makes the first lap happen. Across the line to start his lap. We'll quickly go on the roof to have a good overview of what a driver or what you should be able to see. Brakes around 100, and it turns into the apex already. A little bit wide on this one, but this is not the important one. This one is important. So you don't want to go wide on the exit. Do try to take as much space as you can. See Runelink all the way up until the curves, but not over them. Brakes on 50. I think the car ahead does need to leave some space. Ooh, but a wide drift there. Taking a lot of speed in. A little bit on the grass. A little bit aggressive there on using as much track as he can. That is not a fast drift. That's not the kind of drift you want. But mostly just lost some speed, so he will not be happy with that lap, and I think he's just aborted it. Even as a banker lap, that is maybe not what he wants. So we'll quickly look at Mick Schleifer, who wasn't featured too much last time due to having a complete excess of skill compared to the other drivers. See, we see brakes quite late. Let's see if he can nail the drift. It is a small drift, but you do want to maintain speed there, which he does very nicely on the curbs, on the exit, and be smooth through here. Brake at the right time, at the right angle. And he has to turn in for the apex there. He misses it a little bit. That will compromise him. So there's still some time to find for next run. But overall, a very decent run through there. That is just a very difficult corner. Visually alone, but I can confirm this is a very difficult corner to get right in any car. Wide on exit, just want to make sure that the engine can do the work. But where will it put him? Will it put him on the top? Yes, it does. 131.4. Nearly a second faster than Schwarzfahrer, who is currently in second. Which I think he will be pleased about. For the most part. Who else have we got? We have Nico here. I'm quickly going to grab the overview. It's Shuking. He will be a Schumacher fan. That's what... That gives me that impression, basically. He's doing quite well here today in P4. Within a second of Mick, and I think that's good for a banker. He's trying to improve, and he's slightly faster. At least he was in the last split. Trying to approach this corner as best he can. Oh, but that's a big slide. And he goes around. Unfortunately, Shuking has overcooked it there. And he has to wait for every car to pass. Out of safety more than anything. But I think the car right behind him also overcooked it. He's dropped down to P6 so far. Ultimate Chiesa has now taken pole position by 17 thousandths of a second. Now that is an exciting challenge for P1. I believe it's Mick Slifer. No, it's not right ahead of him. Mick Slifer is about to set a lap. Finish his lap, in fact. Is it going to beat Ultimate Chiesa? No, it is not. It's slightly slower, in fact. But there's still some time, 9 minutes, plenty of time to improve. I don't think he'll be too worried for now. But that is interesting. Schwarzfahrer currently third still, behind Mick Schleifer. 5 tenths away from Ultimate Chiesa. That will be good. And LLL has just joined, triple L as we sometimes call him, or just L's, like multiple L's. I will be referring to him in by means of random chance between those 3 options, as I always do. I'm going a little bit wide there. The right hand wheels on the grass will not be brilliant for lap time, I imagine. Maybe he knows better than me. I don't know how these cars behave on the grass. That is a very, very aesthetic drift for sure. And I think it looked pretty fast as well. So let's see what this is gonna get him. Oh, he is slower though. He is not faster, but the last corner, maybe he had a mistake there in his fast lap. You never know. And hopefully he can... Well, I would say hopefully he can improve. It would be nice to have someone else on pole. He is considered the man to beat, but of course, there he goes. 69 thousandths of a second faster puts him into P1 ahead of Ultimate Chiesa. Roelink is in third currently, and Schwarzfahrer, who Michael Inchat says is pretty fast, and he is. Was fourth, now fifth. But 6 tenths from Mick is nothing to sneeze at. Shuking does improve himself to fourth place. He'll be happy about that. And Dustin finished second last time, currently in 6th. I think that is more of a testament of how close these guys are and how hotly contested the race will be. I think we'll have a very exciting one again, maybe even for the lead today, than that he has been overtaken or maybe isn't doing so well today. I think last time he didn't qualify so well, but he just got a very solid race. I think Dustin also drives in real life. There's some karting, so he will be aware of, more keenly aware than most sim racers, I think, of how to build up a race, start to finish. And maybe a bit too much sliding, but yeah, and he understands that. Aborts the lap. I believe let's make go behind him. And we continue. Now, Wujek also had a good race last time, even if it didn't show in the results so much. It's currently in P8. That is a decent and respectable place. Maybe not quite where he wants to be, but he is also battling currently, and I don't think that's what he wants to be doing, but there we go. That's what is happening. And we do have Pan today. We have Spinjak today, I believe it is. Spinjak. I don't know. He'll have to tell me, and I'll have to learn it. He used to be known as Swift. He changed his name. I might be referring to him as Swift today by complete accident, but then you know who I'm talking about. Trevor Els hasn't left the pits yet. Hopefully he will have time to set a lap, unless he just likes starting from last, which can be exciting. Now, let's see what is going on with Dustin. I expect an improvement. I do think I just saw... I want to double check. Yeah, there you go. I thought he went to the grass. He maybe overcooked it into that chicane a little bit, and I actually didn't lose that much time, so maybe he kept the momentum a little bit more than I thought he would. He will not be happy with the car behind holding him up, but we'll have a couple more laps to make it happen. But there we go. Roelink sets the fastest lap. Mick Schleifer has been knocked off the throne, and the gap is 2.5 tenths. That is pretty significant. That is definitely... Well, I'm not sure how Mick feels about his fast lap, but that is definitely worrisome if that was one of his faster laps. Because that is a big gap. That is a really big gap in racing. Ultimate Chiesa is still behind, not so far. He is quite fast, so I wouldn't hold it against him. And else has now also exited the pit, so I think everybody will be setting a lap. It will be interesting to see where he ends up. If he sets a good lap and gets a good position out of it. Slifer is currently in the pits, probably preparing his car for a last push lap or even a set of push laps. Depends on what he likes to do. Yeah, it will not be an easy feat to beat Runelink there, all the way on top. 2.5 tenths to beat. Will he make it? We'll have a look later. First, I of course want to see. Well, I say of course want to see. I want to see if Dustin improves a little bit still. He's now outside of a second of Runelink. I don't think that's entirely representative of his pace, but these cars are quite hard to handle. And it could be because this track does have different corners, different characteristics and everything. It's a little bit more technical, so it could just be that he's struggling with these cars in these specific corners. But it could still be fine for him in the race. I think he's a man that knows how to race better than the average sim racer. So we'll see if that benefits him, if that's worth anything at all. Because in theory, you could be the best driver on the planet, but if you're not first in the race, it doesn't mean much. That lap wasn't much to write home about, but I will be looking at Mick Schleifer. I think he's still on his out lap. And if not, then I will be informed in a moment as he passes the sector line. Yep, that was definitely his out lap. Warms up his tires a little bit more. We are going cockpit mode for this. We want to see how he handles this car in great detail. I have a start-finish line. And of course it was an outlap, which is why it looks so slow. Let's try to brake correctly. Go in for the corner, carry as much speed as the exit will allow you to. Takes a much wider exit than we've seen him do in his banker lap. So he is pushing. It's such an art, such a precise art to get this car to do exactly what you want it to do. Carry all the speed it can. He is slightly slower in sector 1. However, I think that was also one of his fastest sectors in this last lap. That drift might be a little bit too much, but I think it also let him get on the throttle earlier, so maybe it helped. We'll have to see. Brake at the right time here, right angle, try to turn in for the corner. Oh, I think that is missing an apex. That will not be the fastest he's ever gone through that. But he is still a little bit faster. And if he is lucky here, the car ahead of him will not get in his way. But I think he's also on a push lap, so I don't think he has the right. Mick doesn't necessarily have the right to go past. But it might also compromise his next lap. That's the problem. If this is not fast enough, he might be in trouble. Let's see if it is fast enough first. Across the line. It is faster, but not enough to beat Runelink. Now, he does have a good exit out of that corner and good speed, so maybe he can carry it into this lap. Oh, but I'm not sure, and the other car will also want to improve. It will also be on a push lap. This is actually a big problem for Mick, who goes wide there. I think that is still fine. I think the game will let you get away with that. But yeah, it's gonna be tense, and I don't think Mick can do it this time, but I'm really happy if it can prove me wrong, because that would be amazing. Get a pole position while battling someone on the track, but it is 2 tenths slow, or almost 3 tenths, and that is a big gap to make up in 2 sectors. So I don't think he'll be able to do it. But again, please do prove me wrong. That would be excellent. Is the grass there? He is pushing so hard. This car is going as fast as it possibly can. I try to maybe hit the apex there. Oh, he definitely does. Hits the curb there as well. Now, that might be a better line. Will he also have the better speed through here? It is not faster. In fact, he is also slower in that sector. And he pulls into the pits. He concedes. And that means that Runelink 2 will be our pole sitter for today. Though we do still have Dustin. I believe this is still a lap. Oh, he has just finished his lap. It's one of the two. I think this is still a lap. So we'll see if maybe he can improve. I was looking away when the split happened, but it looked red, so I don't think that's a good sign. Although the difficult part is that you don't know, oh, and that is not good. That is very obviously not good, and that is not going to be a very good last lap for Dustin. I don't think this will be an improvement. It's going to hit the apex here. That is very good, at least. Get that right for the race, where it is even more important. There are no points for qualifying. There is for winning the race. 3/10 slower, but he's gone so far off track, I don't think the game will allow that. And he's hit a couple of barriers that realistically don't matter much. I've still got Cafalo driving. He, I believe he got third in the championship, third last race. He is also improving on this lap, so let's keep an eye out on that. P9 is not where he wants to be, so he's gonna move himself up, but by how much? As it stands, he's predicted P8, but maybe with a very good last corner, he can improve it even further. What's it gonna be, Cafalo? It's P7. Very good. A very big improvement. I think almost 6/10, so he'll be happy about that. P7 for Cafalo it is. Dustin has to settle for P6. Swatfire is in P5. Shuking, Nico is in P4. We've got Ultimate Kaiser in P3. We've got Schleifer, Mick Schleifer, championship leader in P2, was not able to beat Roonlink today, who set an amazing lap, a 1:31.1. Amazingly done from him. If we look below Cafalo, we've got Kai below him. We'll look down through the rest. We've got Kai below him, then Wujek, we've got Pan. And we've got Flavor Dave, Kushti, Triple L's, and we've got Spinnik. Now, here we have the starting procedure. I will quickly make myself a drink. Thank you for being patient with me. So, starting procedure, time remaining, big lie for now. That's just the race time, 30 minutes. That's how long we'll be racing for. But the starting, what you see now is the drivers putting on the fuel. I don't think there's any right tires to put on. I think they're all the same. And just checking if they have everything set correctly. Some drivers will switch setup, some will change their setup. Just trying to get ready. At most, this will take 2 minutes. So we're already past 1 minute. After another minute, we'll definitely either be starting to race or racing already. Very important in this track, the first corner is a fast right-hander. You probably want to be on the inside. That is where Roonlink is, and we'll be happy with that. But it is still a tricky corner. And it's very possible to overdo it. So hopefully, the drivers will be good. Got a virtual couple of red lights. We can't physically see it all, but Mick Schleifer misses the start. Did you see that, people? And Roonlink has a flying start. Mick Schleifer is falling back. He's currently in P4. We see all of these drivers going into turn 1. Are there any incidents? So far, it looks all fine. Mick Schleifer has lost a lot of positions. Currently side by side with Schwarzfahrer in P4. And Roonlink actually having to deal with Ultimate Kaiser next to him. He's on the inside, actually, Ultimate Kaiser, and he will probably have this position as a result. But can he keep this car under control? It is a bit of a diva at best. But Roonlink has to concede that position, and Ultimate Kaiser in the lead of the race. Schwarzfahrer close behind, and Mick Schleifer is also close behind and hungry for that position, having been robbed from pole, I would say. But of course, Roonlink got it fair and square. But he has now retaken the position. A very nice dive bomb. You can see the sheer amount of car control that Mick Schleifer had is absolutely ridiculous. It's such a brilliant overtake there. Makes it look so easy. And Wujek, I think, is the biggest winner of the start. He's currently in P5. Cafalo in P6, also very good start. Shuking in P7. I saw Els drop off. I think he went on the grass there. Dustin hasn't really had a good start, currently in P8. The damage, I think, is limited for him. Yeah, let's have a quick look. Let's continue to look at the lead battle, because this is a battle. Ultimate Chiesa has taken it from Runelink, and Runelink will have to chase him. But I think Runelink is probably faster than Chiesa, I'm estimating, and Mick is probably faster than that. So we'll see these three contract a little bit closer to each other, start battling again, and anything can happen from that point. Ultimate Chiesa has had a very, very strong opening lap, but Runelink is right there. He's got good pace. He is keeping up within 3/10 of him. Well, within 4/10, about 3/10 away. Late on the brakes here, gets a little bit closer, but it's not going to be enough to get an overtake there. Ultimate Chiesa just flawless through there. Makes life about a second behind Ultimate Chiesa. It's going to be very, very difficult for Chiesa to keep this position. Still a long race, but nearly 3 minutes already gone, and he is currently in the lead. If you open the map, close this overview because it's distracting and large. We do see Pan actually very far back, probably has damage on the car. Very unfortunate. Not sure what happened with him, but 22. Yeah, I think he's got damage. I think the car is not behaving the way it wants it to. But back to here, I see Runelink within 3/10 now, and Schleifer has also gotten within the second. This is truly a three-way battle for the lead, and Schwarzfahrer, Wujek, and Kafalo will all be there to benefit from any argy-bargy, any chicanery that happens between the top three. If they hit each other, then they will drop back quite far. So they will want to be clean about this. So Runelink around the outside then. Is it going to be possible? Ultimate Chiesa defends the inside, and I think that was the right move there, because there's not much Runelink can do. And Mick Schleifer is right on the back of him. Pan has gone into repair. I'll quickly look from chase cam from Mick Schleifer, because I think that will be the best view we have from this battle. Runelink really trying to force something there, but there's just nothing there. Chiesa brilliantly blocks everything off. I think Runelink was just also a little bit late on the brakes. Even if these are not high downforce cars, a little bit of disturbance in the air will lower the amount of resistance on the car, and will also make it slow a lot worse. So that is also something drivers will have to contend with. You want to be late on the brakes and get closer, but not into the car ahead. That is absolutely not what you want to be doing. Runelink looking around the outside there for Chiesa, but there's nothing to be seen there. And Schleifer is just, I think he's just waiting, like a predator stalking his prey. But the prey is two cars that are battling intensely, and whoever falls first will be the first target for Mick to overtake. But it is a long race, and maybe he will try to solve this strategically. The good thing for him is, as Runelink looks around the outside, is it gonna be enough? Oh, he does have the overspeed. He's faster than Chiesa, but he kind of loses grip, unfortunately, there. It loses him a little bit of time. Mick Schleifer also falls back a little bit. These guys are still pushing quite hard. Runelink briefly ahead, but couldn't keep the position. Ultimate Chiesa continues to defend, who opens a little bit of gap on the inside, but Runelink wasn't ready to take advantage of it. So the battle continues. Good news is, though, Schwarzfahrer, Mick Schleifer has also fallen back quite a bit. I think he's just made a couple of mistakes. Runelink is still so close. This is just gonna be an all-enough battle, mostly on, because it has been going on for the last 5 minutes, which is literally the entire race so far. Very, very interesting. I do want to try and have a look further down the field, but you can see Runelink is setting up for an overtake here. Went wide into here to get a good line. He will likely have a better exit here. Will it be enough overspeed? He does have a longer line that he's driving. Maybe with the overspeed, maybe into this corner. He thinks better of it. He doesn't do it. I think he's gunning for a good exit. Keeps car stable earlier. Ultimate Chiesa is again already defending the inside. There is slipstream. I think the slipstream is surprisingly strong on these cars. Now, unfortunately, I think for Rooney that is not going to be enough. And Chiesa keeps the position. They will continue battling. A 132 flat from these guys, which is just brilliant. Still, despite the battling, faster than anyone else on the track. McSliver has fallen back a little bit, but still not under threat of Schwarzfahrer, and he can be very happy about that. What I was saying earlier. Lucky that people below P4 are not in contention for this, because if more people had this pace and could keep up with this pace, Schwarzfahrer's pace is very good, very respectful, don't get me wrong, but if some people are less than a tenth behind on pace, then battling like this will definitely slow you down too much. Luckily for them, they're gonna be alright. Who is really trying, and Ultimate Kids is going to be slow there. It was really far on the inside. Didn't have much space to work with. And as a result, Runik is right there. She's not able to get the overspeed. Ultimate Kids is just very, very good on that last little bit of traction in the traction zone. Very nice slide from Runik there. And I think he now has overspeed. He is already slightly alongside. So this is going to be interesting. From the cockpit, we can see the car is right there. The cars are side by side. Runik has significant overlap. He is nearly passed. He is passed. And from Chase we can see this best. He is fully passed. And Ultimate Chiesa will have to slot in behind. But did Runik brake early enough? I'm not sure, because he's gone a little bit wide. And there Ultimate Chiesa is. He is on the inside for the next two corners. This slight kink, which is a corner in these cars, you do have to think about it. And the next one, he is already back ahead. Does he brake early enough? Runik thinks about going around the outside, but it's simply not possible. Maybe a switchback, but there is grass there. You can't really do that. Again, a 32 flat from Runik. Excellent pace. McSlifer is matching it. Schwarzfahrer is also matching it currently. Ultimate Chiesa is struggling. He is feeling this pressure, but he's holding on to his credit. Very good race from him so far. And Runik is going to have to find a different way to solve this. Because I think he thinks, and he might very well be right, that if he does get past, he will be able to run away. That was not a good corner from him. He will not be able to get as close as he normally does out of that corner. So you see a slightly bigger gap this time around. McSlifer is slowly crawling back into this. A bit of a slide, you can see here the engine bogged down. I've increased the engine sounds a little bit this time around. Hopefully you can hear it a lot better. Found a little bit quiet last time around. Now he is a little bit further back, which gives me the opportunity to look at Shuking and Kafalor. Oh, Kafalor has a lot of damage on the rear. Something must have happened there. We'll probably be repairing that. He's also going in for his mandatory stop. There is a mandatory stop today. There's some strategy elements. Wujek has also gone in now. McSlifer is still third. Watching these two battle, he is still in a decently comfortable position. It's not P1, it's not far in the lead like last time, but it's a decently comfortable position where he can take advantage of any mistake that Chiesa and Runik make, quite frankly. And because they are fighting so hard, and they are, like, 32 flat is a respectable time, but you see, McSlifer's last lap was a 131.4. If they keep battling, McSlifer might very well gain half a second per lap, and that's enough to start battling with them as well. Schwarzfahrer currently behind them, best of the rest I would say, P4. And Dustin, I did say to keep an eye out for this man. He had a not a great qualifying, let's say, but in terms of racing he's doing really well currently. 32.7 was his last lap, maybe not entirely what we've seen from the leaders, but it is a very, very good pace that he's doing, especially compared to the drivers behind. I did see Shuking go into the pits. I saw a couple of people go into the pits and don't know all the names. I think Kaflo Wujik were the last, the others. So they'll be slightly out of sync of everyone else. They don't have to stop again though. So that is also something to keep an eye out for. So that is Shuking, Kaflo and Wujik to keep an eye out on. Wujik also had a very slow lap, even full boxing. 2 minutes 25 is not what you want to see in any case. What you do want to see is two guys battling for the lead, and that is what we're going to be seeing for the rest of this race. As exciting as Formula 1 cars are to watch, as fast as they are to drive, and as excited I am always to work with them, these cars are definitely great to race. You can see these guys put up a massively impressive show. Ultimate Chiesa being very nicely defensive. Vroelink has proven himself that he's capable of overtaking, but has he stuck so far? Well, evidently not. He's currently in second, but he's on the inside for the chicane, but that's going to turn on the outside for the next corner. Has he miscalculated this? Well, maybe not. He's got a better exit. Maybe around the outside he is looking around the outside, but maybe he wants to switch it to the inside, but that is being blocked by Ultimate Chiesa, and whoever that is, I think that's Flavor Dave struggling. Vroelink looks on the inside though, he gets the space to do that. And he kind of goes on the curb, that slows him down a little bit, I think. And now he's fully behind Ultimate Chiesa, not where he wants to be, but maybe in the slipstream we'll be able to get the overspeed and we'll be able to pull alongside. Maybe this time it will stick. The last few times we saw he broke too late. Ultimate Chiesa was able to come back twice so far in this race. Third time is the charm. On the inside he goes, but he's very late on the brakes again. Ultimate Chiesa has got very good car control there, and he's right back on the inside. Third time, the same thing happens. Ultimate Chiesa again re-overtakes, but these guys will be loving this battle. Standing on the inside there. Very respectful racing from both of these. Vroelink leaving him the necessary space, but look at who is poking in his nose there. It's Mick Schleifer, and he's like the promised one. The one we always talked about would be in the battle. Here he is. A 131.6 last lap is enough to put him in the battle. And now these guys will have to contend with a very, very fast Mick Schleifer behind them. And that is going to be extremely harmful, specifically for Vroelink, because he was able to focus just on Ultimate Chiesa for a couple of laps. He wanted to go past so he could run away from Mick Schleifer. But now that Mick has caught up, he will have to look in his mirrors as well, and that is possibly going to slow him down, maybe forcing him into a couple of defensive moves here and there. But this race is still long, and Mick Schleifer will have a decently fast lap, I think, this time around, because he did catch up to them. But his lap times will not be great. Already a 32.3, so the lap times of these guys, as they will be battling, will be dropping. You now see that last lap around Dustin actually was extremely fast. Ultimate Chiesa is still also very, very fast. Vroelink looking on the inside maybe though. He's got a good exit. Is it good enough for a move on the inside? Looks around the outside. Ooh, lost a little bit of distance there. He has to settle for staying second. Mick Schleifer is still right up there. Any battles further down? Not as of yet. A lot of people are in a strategical battle. Dustin will be doing the laps he can, trying to make up for lost positions in qualifying and from the start. But he's doing a good job setting very good laps, the laps he needs to be setting. But I want to pay attention to Shuking here. Nico has just set a 131.6, and that could be an underdog for later on in the race. If other people also start to do their pit stops, he might bubble right up to the top. We'll have to see for that, but we also saw Vroelink very close to Ultimate Chiesa there. Not quite enough. Mick Schleifer is still up there, but not quite able to overtake at all. These guys are simply taking up too much space on track, and it's very impolite, but such is racing. These three are so close together. It is so brilliant to see. We're halfway through this race. Ultimate Chiesa and Vroelink can't get enough of each other. They are so close together, and Mick Schleifer is right back up there with them. Lost pace a little bit, making a couple of mistakes, I think all in one lap. Lost about 2.5 seconds, but he's right back up there. He's shown excellent pace, but is he able to overtake? That might be what decides the race for him. Maybe he has to box at the right time. Vroelink looks on the inside, but it's not going to be enough. Ultimate Chiesa very nicely leaves the space, but does it in such a way that he will still have the better speed. Vroelink did kind of make him concede there a little bit. He was side by side for like a tire, for like a moment, it's not going to be enough. Ultimate Kaiser has been so good on defense today. That is so impressive. Mick doing an excellent job as well, keeping up. Now looking further down, we do see Dustin. I think he's catching up to Schwarzfahrer, and that's at very good speed. So I'll try to keep an eye out on that. We also have, I believe it's, yeah, there we go. Kushti very close to Kafalor. Kafalor still, I think it's visual damage. I'm not sure if he's still damaged. Oh, but I think I saw something switch here, but maybe it's just the times. Mixlife and Ruling and Kaiser still in the same order, still as close to each other as they have always been, and this is interesting. Dustin is in the pits, and that could very well be decisive for his race, seeing where he comes out. Mixlife closing in, Ruling so close, but not enough to pull alongside this time. We've been doing this for almost 18 minutes. There haven't been any major collisions between the top three, and I think that's extremely impressive with how much of a handful these cars are. There have been a couple of scary moments, close calls, a couple of small touches I've seen, but that's the worst of it. We do see Ultimate Kiss, I think a compromised exit there. Rulinka wasn't really able to benefit though. We have lost the 100 board there. That's just the way it happens with Ultra Blister sometimes. Even worse on open lobbies. Mixlife, ooh, a little bit wider on the grass. You can see that loses him time. Makes him lose touch to Runelink and Ultimate Kaiser. And that could make the difference between overtaking or not in specific circumstances. Ultimate Kaiser he's just very clean. He makes no major mistakes, and that just makes sure that Runelink isn't able to pull alongside. And it makes it very difficult for him to overtake. Now, how is he going to do it though? Because you can't stay in second forever and be happy. He will be frustrated that he couldn't make the overtake stick, despite the fact that he was passed 3 times, but has just missed the braking zone every single time. Now he's catching up again. Is he going to go for it? Late on the brakes maybe? No, he decides against it. He knows that doesn't work. This car will punish him if he tries it. Mixlife maybe benefiting from the slide that Runelink had. But a decent exit, but it's not quite enough. We do have Dustin immersive P6 actually. Being in P6 right now is extremely important for his race. But I think maybe Schwarzfahrer still has the pit, and the top 3 also still have the pit. So P6 it is for him, that's very good. Nico doing an excellent job as well. He's very close, he's up there in the pace. So possibly he will be able to challenge Dustin there. He's right at his visors. But Schwarzfahrer, who I think hasn't stopped yet, but still in P4, sitting pretty, doing well. We've got Kafalo in P8. Kushti is a little way behind him right now. We've got a couple of people. Wujek is chasing Spiniak right now. We've got Pan in Flavor Dave. I think they've had big incidents, so just a little bit further up ahead. Now this gap is so small. Oh, I have to look, but I have to look even more now, because Runelink has decided that this is the moment he is going to box. He can't get past on track. He's going to try it off track. Into the pits he goes. He's gonna have to hope that Ultimate Kaiser is able to parry Mixlife for long enough that Runelink can set laps that he needs to and overtake through undercut. It will basically be a splash and dash though. It's just to get out of the wake of Ultimate Kaiser. Nobody in front of him to defend Runelink will hope for, and that's exactly what he gets. Schwarzfahrer also is in the pits. I think that makes most people having pitted, except for the top 2. Mixlife very close to Ultimate Kaiser. Ultimate Kaiser is so good defensively. I think credit to him. You can say all you want. Maybe he's blocking them or whatever. Some people will say that. It's not true. He's got decent enough pace. If you don't have decent enough pace, you're not going to be able to do this for 20 minutes, which he has done so far. 20 minutes of blocking Runelink, not blocking him, defending excellently. And now Mixlife is on his rear. He's not going to be able to get past so easily. And let's also keep in mind that Mick and Ultimate Chiesa both need to worry about Rune. Because if Ultimate Chiesa boxes now, there's a good chance he emerges behind Rune. And that could be a disaster. Because that could mean that you will not be able to... Oh, but he does box though. He does box at the last moment. There he goes. I do want to quickly... Oh no! He makes a mistake. He goes at the box too fast and he hits the wall. Oh no! That is a disastrous turn of events for him. He's had such a good race so far. I quickly want to check. We have got a couple of 10-second penalties. So we'll come back to that later. That is a disastrous turn of events for Ultimate Chiesa. He tries to go into the pits as fast as he can. He doesn't have a time penalty per se, but the car didn't quite turn in the way he expected it to, and that's a lot of damage. Hopefully the car's still drivable for him. It might be getting repaired right now, so maybe he will still be able to drive normally, but look at where it puts him. Dustin goes past, Nico goes past, he's still in the pits. Fastfire is also past now, still standing still, and now he's moving again. Cavallor is on the start-finish straight at the start of it, but that cannot be what you want. He was fighting for the lead and he was doing so well. 20 minutes perfect, but one mistake can turn it all around. That is so sad. And I don't know what to say. Excellent race so far, but sometimes you try your best and you don't succeed. And Mick Schleifer is flying here. 131.5 is scary. That is terrifying pace. Is he going to box as well? He probably will have to do it soon. Unless he thinks he has the better pace over Ruling. Because that is what is going to decide this race. It's him against Ruling. He is going to have to put in those laps. And Ruling is also going to have to do the same. Now that is a cool fight, but it's not as cool as Shuking and Dustin, who are extremely close together. I think Dustin has slightly better pace, maybe even has overtaken him. If he has, I'm very sorry. There was some exciting things going on here. There you go. Shuking is very, very close to Dustin. Oops. If you right click, apparently it will automatically ask you if you want to quit. Just AMS 2 things. Nico is very fast. He just improved his personal best lap. A 131.4 is half a second faster than Dustin. And this is realistically a fight for P3. This is for a podium. Now, I'm not sure if they were expecting that. Chiesa was all the way up there for most of the race. Of course, we saw what happened to him. Cavallor is now very close to him instead. We'll have to defend, but it will not be for P1. It will be for P6. And he will be probably just angry at himself. And it's just, this is kind of what happens in racing sometimes. Sometimes you get taken out and sometimes you take yourself out. But it's not the end of the world, it's not the end of the season, and it's still not even the end of the race. We have a lot of a race to go, 5 minutes. It's going to be hard to catch up to Schwarzfire and overtake him for Chiesa, but never say never. More importantly, I think, or more plausibly maybe, Shuking, Nico, close to Dustin. It's going to be for a position. And also interesting, look at the top two. Mick Schleifer, actually extremely fast at 131.4 last lap, beating Ruling's 132.0, and Ruling has fallen, it seems. If Schleifer gets a good pit stop, then he will probably be ahead, and Ruling will have to settle for second. That's what he's racing for now, and as long as the tyres work, as long as he's happy with his pace, with his rhythm, he will continue driving until he has the box. And let's hope for him he doesn't do it too late. That would be a disaster. I think it's straight up a disqualification if you don't do it in time. So we'll do it in 2 laps at most. And then we'll see how it turns out. We'll also see how this turns out. Nico very, very close to Dustin. He keeps his head cool. Still a decent amount of race to go. A couple of laps to find the best position to overtake as the sun starts to set. Looking around the outside there, we saw a couple of drivers do this. Just take a slightly different line and shoot for a better exit through here. Technically, I don't think that will be the optimal line, but a good exit. Like if you have the same exit, you're not gonna get past someone. It's gonna be defended all the way through. So you're gonna have to try something different. That's what you see most drivers doing. Dustin does have a very good exit there, very nice line. I think Nico has slightly more speed, so this is going to be interesting. Defending the inside then, Dustin thinks about it, doesn't actually do it, goes back to the outside. Slipstream is broken, but simultaneously Nico is side by side. They are going up to the braking zone, 150, brake at 100. Is this early enough? Does he have enough grip? And he does, and Shuking goes past Dustin onto the podium, but it's not quite over. I think Dustin tried for a switchback there, but it was nicely covered up by Nico, and he has to settle for 4th now, but his battle is not over. Dustin has the pace. He'll be able to keep up and maybe even re-overtake. It is a very steady rhythm that these drivers are doing. I think we see our race leader Mick Stryver going into the box. Now, Schwarzfahrer is 5th. I think that's basically decided. Kafalor still chasing Ultimate Kaiser. Ultimate Kaiser taking home what he can. It's not what he wanted, but it's still something to fight for. P6 is a lot better than nothing. Schleifer is already driving out of the box. Where is Roonlink? Roonlink is nowhere near. And I think that is a testament to the amazing pace that Mick Schleifer has displayed today. Very good. Well, not necessarily racecraft. He's not battling. It's like not a racecraft thing per se. But he's been very smart about the way he approached today. Just not getting too involved in any difficult battles, not risking any crashes, any incidents, and this is where it gets you in P1. If you have very good pace, if you have very good confidence in this car, that's the kind of things you can do, and he has been incredible today to do that. Brunig has shown that he has the speed. In qualifying, he was the fastest man. Let's not forget. But doing it lap after lap in this car is so difficult. 6 seconds behind from being ahead by only a slim margin. He boxed earlier, trying to get out of the battle with Ultimate Kaiser, hoping Ultimate Kaiser would hold up Mick Schleifer a little bit more. It was not to be, unfortunately, and he has to settle for 2nd. Dustin is still close behind Nico, but I think Nico will have the better pace here. But it is still a battle. Kafalor has slightly lost touch of Ultimate Kaiser. Kaiser doing the laps he should be doing an excellent job there. We've got Kai Lurprecht, I believe, something like that, in P8. And Wujek behind him, as we just saw pan through the camera, in P9, and that is Kashti as well. Spiniak will be in P11 as it stands, and Pan, unfortunate incidents today, has to settle for P12. I think we've lost Triple L today, and at least one other driver. Closest battle is still Dustin and Nico. And there's no time remaining, which means we'll be looking at the leader as well, because he has done an excellent job today. It has been not as easy as last time. Last time he was in the lead for the whole race. Today he had some guys ahead of him to worry about. There was definitely a strategical battle there, and unfortunately I think it's more, maybe it's more that Rooney lost it more than Mick won it, but fact remains that Mick won it. He will be the first to cross the line today. There's only one corner standing in between himself and another brilliant victory in the Classic Day Championship. There he goes. taking all the track he can. He is still pushing. He enjoys driving this car so much, flashing as he goes across the finish line. It's been an excellent race from Mick Schleifer and rewarded with a brilliant win. P1 from him, and Roelink has to settle for P2. Great race from him. Ultimately, unfortunately, Mick Schleifer had the better pace and beat him. Shuking Nico manages to hold on to P3 on track, but I think he had a time penalty. Yes, 10 seconds behind his name, as well as Wujek. Those are the only penalties today for speeding in the pit lane, that will be. So he unfortunately actually drops back 2 places. P5 it is for him. Dustin then ends up on the podium. P3 it is for him. Schwarzfahrer in P4. And then in P6. What a tragic race for him. Ultimate Chiesa. Unfortunately had to settle for P6. He unfortunately crashed into the pit entry after leading the race for 20 minutes. The saddest thing I've seen all week. Caffalo in P7. I've got Kai Lubrecht in P8 just finished. Kushti right behind in P9. Wujek has to settle for P10. I've got Pan in P11 and Spinek comes out in P12 to get a point for the championship. Of course, they haven't finished quite yet, actually. They're quite close, I just realized. But there he goes. That is the order they do indeed finish in. What an amazing race today again. Well, if you have been watching, maybe you tuned in later on in the stream, please do rewatch the whole race. It's been excellent to watch. I'm gonna want to save that replay. It's been excellent to watch the whole way through. Start to finish. And I'm not kidding, there was just battles constantly. The ending was the most boring part. Which, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy race, yet again. Last time was brilliant. There were battles the first 2/3 of the race. Today it repeats, and I think for the rest of the season I will just have a lot of fun commentating this. Because, oh my god. What an amazing car. What an amazing set of races we've had so far. If you have been watching, please do not forget to follow. Thank you so much for watching as well. I'll be doing this every other week. Just enjoying, almost just enjoying watching this this car go around this track. It's such a sight to behold. My name has been Findict. Thank you so much for watching the SSR Classic Day series. Continue in 2 weeks, and we'll see you then.